My name is Meha Suri, and I'm a research associate with the Ag Law Education Initiative. This video is about the Maryland Class 8 Farm Brewery License. The first part of this video will cover basic definitions and important information on state, federal, and local laws, how they interact with each other, and how they impact potential farm brewers. The second part of the video will cover more specific details of the actual farm brewery law. So let's start with what is a microbrewery, as microbreweries are what is covered under the law. A microbrewery is a beer production operation that makes a limited number of barrels per year. To be clear, craft beer, such as the Maryland-based Flying Dog, is not always the same as a microbrew. Craft beer must follow certain brewing guidelines. The only qualification or requirement for being a microbrewery is that a limited number of barrels are made per year. So a beer can be both craft and microbrewed, but it's not the same thing. So this presentation and the Maryland Farm Brewery Law is about microbreweries. Over the past 10 years, as interest in local products has increased, the number of microbreweries in the U.S. has increased over 400%, from about 700,000 in 2004 to over 3 million in 2014. In order to help Maryland farmers become part of this exploding interest, the Maryland General Assembly created the Class 8 Farm Brewing License. This license allows farmers to produce and then sell and serve beer on their farm. The beer must be made with at least one ingredient that's grown on the farm, though there's no set percentage. Since this is a microbrewery license, you are limited to making 15,000 barrels per calendar year. One barrel is 31 gallons. The key difference between this and the regular microbrewery license is that you, as a farmer, can actually serve your beer on your farm. The regular microbrewery license doesn't give producers the ability to serve their brew. Those brewers would need additional permits in order to set up a tasting room or a bar type of operation. However, the Class 8 license, which again is only available to farmers, does allow producers to serve their beer on the property. This means you can host a variety of events, such as tastings or beer festivals. And that way you have kind of a built-in way to get people onto your farm and market your product through a fun, interactive event. But there is a bit of a catch. Due to the varied multi-level regulations surrounding the production and sale and service of alcohol, starting a brewery on your farm isn't quite as easy as just following the letter of the new Maryland law. Not that laws in Maryland are super easy to follow anyway. In Maryland, alcohol laws are governed by individual counties, so it's really important to contact your local ag marketing specialist or your regional ag marketing specialist for help specific to your county. However, before you even get there to the local level, you'll have to make sure that you're compliant with all federal laws, as the federal government also regulates alcohol. As you might have experienced in your personal life, alcohol laws in the U.S. are a weird, confusing patchwork of regulation. For example, until a recent change, it was illegal to sell liquor in Maryland on Sundays, but perfectly legal to buy beer and wine. In some places in Oklahoma, another example, it's illegal to possess beer, but perfectly legal to have as many handles of Jack Daniels or any other type of liquor as you want. These varied, sometimes confusing, sometimes old-fashioned laws are partly a result of Prohibition-era laws that are still on the books and a complex local, state, and national regulation scheme. What this means for you is that it's very important to make sure your operation meets the standards set by each level of regulation, so federal, state, and local. Your business may become jeopardized down the road if it turns out you missed part of the requirements, or you may even be unable to start up. So let's start with navigating federal laws. The first step to setting up your farm brewery is getting the Federal Brewer's Notice. This is regulated by the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, or the TTB. The application process is completely online, and the form can be found at this website. The application requires an invoice for the brewing equipment you plan to use, and an on-site inspection may be part of the application review process. So, of course, they need you to have everything purchased so that they actually have something to inspect. You will also need bond coverage as an alcoholic beverage producer, which must also be purchased before applying. There's no application fee. Another federal law to keep in mind is that commercial alcohol production cannot occur on a residential property. Even if your land is zoned as agricultural, your home, if it's on the farm, it's federally considered residential property. You will need to provide a variance form indicating that the residential portion of the property is separated from the prospective brewing site. Basically, they want to make sure that you're not brewing your beer in your dining room. It may help your application to include that you live in a designated agricultural zone if that's the case. There's a sample variance form in the microbrewery guide that's on our website. I also highly recommend just calling the TTB helpline, and you can find that phone number on their website as well. I called them while I was putting the guide together, and the woman I spoke with was very helpful. She stayed on the phone with me for almost half an hour, and I only had to wait perhaps 3 to 5 minutes to get someone on the line. And after she talked to me, she even emailed me the documents I needed, rather than sort of sending me off into the web on a wild goose chase to find them myself. Also, check out their FAQ section. It's relatively easy to navigate and offers mostly straightforward answers. So you also have to consider local laws. In addition to the federal laws about alcohol production and sale, alcohol is also regulated at a county level in Maryland. For example, this is why alcohol taxes are higher in Montgomery County than they are in Prince George's County. As of now, the letter of the law that created the farm brewery license says that farmers with the Class 8 license can sell alcohol from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. any day of the week, quote, notwithstanding or regardless of county laws. In other words, if your county doesn't allow the sale of alcohol on a certain day or a certain time, this license technically gives you the right to do so anyway. The only exception written into the law was made for Garrett County, where alcohol can only be sold on Sundays in places where residents have voted to allow it. That being said, it's still a good idea to stay within your county laws. The license is still relatively new, and the language may change as more people start operating farm breweries. Additionally, your county or regional ag marketing specialist or professional will help you navigate any zoning laws that might impact you. Some counties may have rules about alcohol production and service in alcohol-based events. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're setting up your operation. Again, you technically can, serve despite the local laws, but it may be prudent to stick within the local laws since things may change as more people, get into this field. So that's all about the overall laws and definitions. For more information about the specific details of the actual Class 8 license, please watch the second part of this video. Thanks.